everyone. Welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 188. Andrew Eisen here. So, I heard from Zachary he is alive and well, so good on him and his. He still doesn't have internet, but maybe he'll have internet in the next month or so. Who knows? We shall see. So, last week I played Journey. I only played it for an hour because I didn't like it, which is not the more common opinion I hear regarding that game, so I was kind of bummed out I didn't like it as much as many others seem to. But having heard that the game is only like 2 hours long and I had played about an hour of it, I figured, you know what? I can plow through the back half of the game and maybe something happens that'll turn it around for me. So fired it up and played it some more, and it turns out I was only about 15 minutes away from the end of the game, so it wasn't really that big a deal. I had stopped in an area that I kind of compared to the water temple in Ocarina of Time, because you're essentially in a big cylindrical room with a tower in the center, and you have to perform an action that raises the water level several times until you get up to the top. And I got about probably 75% of the way up when I first played it, and I went, I don't want to play anymore. So I stopped. But I picked it up right there, which unfortunately starts you at the bottom of the room. Oh well. But once you get to the top, you're in the basically at the snowy bit of the mountain, and from there it's just walking right up to the top. So, did the end of the game change my opinion on it any? No. But I will happily say this. Journey did, in fact, provide me... Hello, Chaos. Journey did, in fact, provide me with probably the most satisfying gaming moment of the year so far for me. So, if you're not aware, Journey has other people playing Journey running around. The game calls them companions, and when you beat the game it lists companions you've met and it gives their PlayStation name. I thought that was kind of pointless because you don't really do anything in the game, so having a companion to help you do not much of anything doesn't seem useful, especially since about the only thing you can do in the game is chirp or chime or ping. You hit the button and you make a poom, a little key blast, a little poof of key, a little key fart. That's about all you can do. So while I was nearing the peak, trudging up the snowy peak of the mountain, I ran across another companion. And this one, unlike the 3 or 4 I had met previously, typically what I would do is that when I met a companion is I would just pause the game, which essentially makes the character sit down, and just let them go on ahead, because I don't like to share my toys with others. But this dude, and you know it's a dude, that I met at the peak of the mountain was an annoying jerk who just hung on me like flies on poop and slammed on the ping button. Just hung right next to me and just key farted all over the place. So I sat down, which meant, pause the game, which makes your in-game character sit down like they're meditating, which actually gives you an achievement if you're meditating long enough. And I figured that this griefer would get bored and go away, Nope. Nope. Sat down right next to me. And I went to do something else for a little bit. That guy is, whoever that person is, they are committed to being a jackass. Maybe if the game were more fun and had more to do, gamers might be inclined to be less crappy. But to be fair, out of the 6 people I ran across, he was the only one who was outright being a jerk. So, I came back from whatever I had done to wait him out, and he was perfectly fine with waiting. So, I pulled my internet cable, disconnecting from the internet, and his player character, who was squatting right next to me, slowly faded into nothingness. Just disappeared. I think that put the broadest smile I've had on my face all year. That was immensely satisfying. I know we're all by ourselves right now, but man, oh man, that did it for me. I was like, oh man, I want to do that again. Just poofing griefers out of existence? Ah, that was the best. Just watching them slowly fade into non-existence. That's like, I don't know if it gets better this year. Just watch. Oh, that was satisfying. I still don't like Journey, but I will give it credit. It did provide me with almost certainly the single most satisfying moment in gaming for me this entire year. So, kudos to Journey for at least that much. Otritsu says, if you get a chance, the Trials of Mana remake is pretty good. Since you're not willing to pay full price, it'll probably go on sale at some point in the next year. I've only from the Mana series, I've only played Secret of Mana, so which not surprising because one of them was, I think, released here as Final Fantasy Tactics or something like that, which I never played, and the other one, the name I don't remember, was never localized, so I've obviously never played that one. Otritsu, you sound like you'd love Thanos snapping away the annoying jackasses. Yeah, they should make that a game. Just imagine if Thanos was like half the universe. No, just the assholes. And I'd do it one by one while I'm standing next to him. That's the interesting thing about Thanos, is he just snapped and kind of assumed it all worked. He wasn't like standing next to a person going and watch him go poof and going, yeah, satisfying. So, Nicholas points out that I was trying to social distance from my Journey companion. Pretty much. 6 feet, asswipe! 6 feet! So, 2 people, entire damn mountain, and you've got to sit next to me. Final Fantasy Adventure. Thank you, Otritsu. I was close, but wrong. Final Fantasy Tactics is a thing. Different game, though. Secret of Mana was released over here. Trials of Mana is the third game. I've always known it by its Japanese name, which I can never remember. Like, I know it when I see it, but I can't actually repeat it unless it's written in front of me. So it's got an S in it. So I would like to share with y'all a funny little story here. Because of the gross financial uncertainty that faces many of us, either due to losing our jobs or having reduced hours or not knowing what the future may hold from the employment standpoint, I imagine a lot of people are in the similar boat I am, have a stranglehold on our expenditures right now. Like many, I'm sure, I'm only buying stuff I really need, like paying my rent, food, the necessities, right? I'm not subscribing to new streaming services. I'm not buying new video games. Yeah, I'm really lucky in the fact that I'm fortunate enough to have a gigantic backlog of unplayed video games, so it's not like a huge sacrifice for me. But I am making sure that I keep as much money as I can because I might need it, right? So, one of the things I thought I'd try doing to help bolster the bank account balance was see if I could reduce my power bill any, right? So my electricity bill from SDG&E typically around $40 a month. So I thought, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn off my computer every single night. A lot of times I won't turn off my computer overnight because I leave things open because it just takes longer to open it up and get back to where I was. Like any video project I'm editing, right? Or if I'm like reading something and I want to, I could bookmark it, sure, but it's easier just to leave it on the page I was, just highlight the text where I left off, right? But I say, okay, so I'm going to turn off my computer every night. What else can I do? I can, during the day, open the damn blinds and let the light in. Don't turn on the light. At night, I can sit in the dark. And for the past 5 or so weeks, that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been sitting in the dark. I only turn on the lights when I need it, like in the kitchen when I'm making dinner. Just to see, because I figured, it's not going to make a huge dent, but if I could, every little bit counts. If I could cut my bill by 25% per month, who knows if that will make the difference at some point, right? So for the past 5 weeks or so, I've been sitting in the dark. Not in the pitch blackness. I do have my computer on or playing video games, but I don't have the lights on. I just turn them off. I have all my, you can't see it's off camera, but basically my entire workstation at work is now over there. Well, over there and on the floor, because I don't have that much table space. I make sure I shut my laptops down. I make sure I unplug them so they don't draw power. Even the huge power strip I have on the floor that charges all of my tablets and terminals and other equipment, when nothing's charging, I pull that from the wall. So I've been really conscious about saving as much power as I can, and I'm happy to report that after 5 weeks of sitting in the dark, it's not made one damn bit of difference. Because here was my power usage last month, and here's where it is this month. It's exactly the same. Did not make one iota of difference. I'm lying a little bit. I saved maybe $1, which seems kind of negligible. So, yeah, it's not the overhead lights that are pulling most of the power. It just seems to be the basic electricity draw of my unit. I do know, however, that the what's that called? Air conditioner, which blows hot air out of the house. Running that thing for a few hours a day, that will spike my utility bill. So, and it's getting hot. I'm gonna have to use it, but I'm gonna try and use it sparingly. So, yeah, if I'm in the middle of an editing project or in the middle of whatever I'm reading that I think's just really interesting, I guess I can leave my computer on. Because I looked at my daily average. It's broken up by hour, and there's a huge spike at the 9 o'clock hour, which is when I turn on my computer. So I'm wondering if turning it off during the night is not doing as much as turning it on during the day is just sucking all the power out of the wall to turn it on. Seiken Densetsu, yeah, that's the that's pretty cool. If that's not exactly what it's definitely something like that Densetsu. So, yeah. Otraitsu says, as a retail food service guy, Casey's General Store, Nope. What part of the? If you're in the U.S., what part of the country is that? I'm currently essential personnel and haven't had to worry about income. Uh, I I hope you're getting hazard pay, and if you aren't, you should. I just as a general, all essential workers I think should be paid like they are, and I would say that includes hazard pay. I'm a non-essential worker, um, but so yeah. What's actually funny is I was talking to my sister today, and I actually, had I guessed, I figured that my employment would be more solid than hers because I'm a QA guy. So we always have projects that are in flux that need to be worked on. So I figured I mean, it's certainly possible that I could get laid off. I haven't been. Reduced hours, yes, but I still have, I'm still employed. But my sister, on the other hand, is an event planner. And there are no events to plan. So I was thinking, oh man, my sister's probably going to have it worse than me. Thankfully, no. My sister just hit reduced hours, but I think they were reduced by only like 8 hours. Um, so that's good. So it's kind of funny that event planner with no events to plan actually has more to do than I do. Works out that way sometimes. What's funny is my sister, her workplace sounds actually really cool because they're not doing much. They're trying to stay together as a community, and they're doing weird little TikTok challenges. So I've been helping my sister edit fun little videos. In fact, I edited one for her today, which was a parody of the walk-off in Ben Stiller movie Zoolander. So that was fun. And it uses Beat It from Michael Jackson, so it was immediately claimed, but whatever, it's an unlisted video, it's just for them internally, so it doesn't really matter. And that's actually a proper claim because I was using a copyrighted piece of music. So, no hazard pay for chaos, yeah. Otritsu, no hazard pay, but guaranteed a raise at the end of the month. Well, that's good. Wilson says, Matthew says, how there are like no events until 2021. Yeah, yeah. So they've been shifting to kind of like a marketing thing where they have a kid's mascot, which is this koala named Jaime, something like that. And the koala. So she's been shooting like marketing videos and marketing stills to promote working from home with children. So a lot of things to do with your kids while you're stuck at home, kind of things. So I'm constantly seeing footage of my sister's beau in this really goofy koala costume, which is pretty fun. So, Chaos says, no one where I work has gotten a raise in 4 years. That's fairly similar to where I work. I've worked there 15 years. I think I've gotten 4 raises, and 2 of those, one was changing jobs, and 1 was a promotion. So changing the job twice, I guess. The other 2 were just performance review raises. So yeah, not much, but every little bit helps. Yeah. From what I understand, I remember watching Christmas Vacation when I was young, and I didn't understand the idea of a Christmas bonus because I was young. I wasn't working yet. This was like the 80s. But apparently it was a common thing that works, at Christmas, people get a bonus. And it's not enough to put a pool in the backyard or anything, it's just an extra couple $100 maybe. I have never, I've been working, I'm 40 now, so I've been working for a little over 20 years. I have never in my life gotten a Christmas bonus. I know no one who has. I don't know if that's something that used to be a thing and just no longer is, or if that was just made up for the Chevy Chase movie. So, all right. Yeah, what's funny about where I work is I make a decent salary if I didn't live in San Diego. I look at my salary and I think, oh man, if I lived in like Arizona, I'd be making bank. But cost of living here in San Diego is pretty damn high. Not as bad as San Francisco, not as bad as New York, but ooh, it's up there. Let's see. AM's Christmas bonus is a ham. This is chaos. Atritsu says Christmas bonus is just a Christmas present from the corporate. You know what? They do a. Do I actually? Hang on. Show and tell time. Hang on. So we do have a Christmas party, and we have. Sometimes they take us out to lunch, and then they'll do like a raffle to give away prizes, and they're usually like $10 to $25 at Starbucks or Walmart or something like that. I've been pretty damn lucky the last, 2 years. Last year I won the grand prize, I think, which was $100 at Walmart. And it was the gimmick. They took us out to eat at a fancy restaurant, and the gimmick was, if you won the raffle, each person who wins the raffle can either choose a card or something, or they'd get a card and they could choose to exchange it with someone else's gift, and one of the gifts was just this like bucket of lollipops, and I went for and it's like, now, do you want what's in this card? It could be $100, or do you want the thing of lollipops? I'm like, I'll take the thing of lollipops, because I know what I'm getting with the thing of lollipops. I mean, maybe there's money stuffed in the lollipops thing, but even if there's not, I still got a tin full of lollipops, and that's pretty great. So I took the lollipops, and it actually had a $100 gift card in it, so for Walmart. So that was nice. I bought socks, lots and lots of socks. So I have no idea what I bought. Probably shirts like these. This year, however, I didn't win the grand prize, but I did win whatever this is, and it's still got the bow on it. It is J-Buds Air True Wireless Signature Earbuds. I think they're those things that you stick in your ears instead of putting something over your ears, which is comfortable. These are the things that you stick right on in them, and I don't want to do that. So I still haven't even taken the bow off, but it's mine. Honestly, while I appreciate the little, they didn't take us out to lunch or anything this year. It was just kind of a potluck thing, and I appreciate that. But with what they spend on that, they probably could just give us all $50. Actually, they could, considering what some of the prizes, they could probably get away with just giving us all $100. I think we'd all like it better. But Chaos says cost of living where Chaos is rather low. Well, it's good to hear. Matthew, I'll get to that in a sec. Sure. Chaos says, my company does yearly Christmas party that they used to give everyone $50 for just showing up and gave away other cash prizes and TVs. I've never attended. Yeah. So Matthew asks, AMC refuses to show future Universal movies because they released Trolls 3 on VOD. Your take? was actually talking to my sister about this earlier. Now, I only read the headline. I've not read the article exactly what happened, but my understanding is there is a understanding, a contract for if you want to release your movie at a theater chain, you have to agree to certain conditions. These include what cut of the ticket sales you get, how many screens it's on, how long it plays for, but also the fact that the theater gets exclusive rights to show the movie before you release it on a streaming service or VOD or digital DVD Blu-ray, right? Universal, seeing how well Trolls World Tour did, for those who are not aware, all the stay-at-home orders came into effect. Most all the theaters closed, if not all of them. So no one's going anywhere. Theaters aren't open anyway. No movies. So most studios pushed their theatrical releases back later in the year. Some of them, including Universal, decided to release some of their movies on VOD. The most notable one was Trolls World Tour. And that had probably, I believe it was the largest video-on-demand debut of any movie ever. And so Universal's like, hey, there's some money here. And AMC and other theaters say, yeah, but if you premiere your stuff on VOD, you ain't showing them in our theaters. You know, that's a lovely cake you got there. No, you can't eat it too. So I don't know if Universal said that it was just going to premiere stuff on VOD and release it in the theaters, and that's what AMC and others are responding to, or what. But I think Universal would be wise to play ball with AMC and others, because as well as Trolls World Tour did, my hunch, and it's only a hunch, is that Trolls World Tour did as well as it did because we're all on lockdown and we have nothing else to do, and that's a decently high-profile, family-friendly, all-ages movie that people can watch and keep their kids entertained for an hour and a half. I think if there were not a pandemic and we weren't all under stay-at-home orders, I don't think Trolls World Tour would have done anywhere near that amount of business. In fact, Universal, from what I understand, was not that confident in Trolls World Tour in the first place. You know, they're confident in like the Minions movie, but they were like, this one's probably going to open a little soft, so which is why they used it for VOD. They're like, you know, we can put The Hunt on VOD, Invisible Man, and what else we got? Trolls World Tour. Put those out there for $20. And Trolls World Tour, being that it's the non-R-rated one, you know, the other one's an R-rated action movie. The other one's an R-rated horror movie. This is a fun, colorful cartoon. So, not too surprising to me that it did as well as it did, but I have a pretty strong sense, again, just personal sense here, that it did as well as it did because of the circumstances, not because this is Universal's future of film distribution. I think Universal is definitely going to want to continue working with AMC and others. Now, it may have a little bit of leverage to sweeten whatever that theatrical distribution deal is by showing the numbers from their VOD debut, but I don't think Universal can just go its own way. So it sounds to me like the theaters are just playing hardball. They're just, you know, it's a it's a genital measuring contest. You know, they're throwing their gauntlets down. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It's just posturing. It's public posturing to try and it's negotiating in public is what it is. What it seems like to me. So. Matthews clarifying AMC is upset they released Trolls on VOD, which they kind of had to do. You mean instead of waiting for? Okay. Hey, Andrew, maybe read all the comment before guessing what he means. So he says AMC's upset they released Trolls on VOD. They were upset that they did it in the first place. In short, AMC wanted them to delay it instead of releasing it to VOD. But let's be honest, we ain't going to the movies till 2021. Yeah, I mean, even in some of the states with run by people who really don't care if you die or not, that opened up recently, like Georgia and Texas. Even the theaters are like, nope, no, we're not opening. No, that would be people would die, and we don't want that. So, yeah, I mean, my guess would be fall at the earliest, but yeah, it's sadly it's going to be a while. So, I think if that's the case, I think AMC is being a little petty. It's like you can't release movies on VOD. You have to wait until we can show them. No, they don't. Oh yeah, well we're never going to show your movies ever again. If it makes you money, it will. If AMC can make money showing Universal's movies, it will do so. Because it's a business. It's what they do. Despite what they may say in the papers today, I guarantee, which holds absolutely no weight, that AMC will show Universal Pictures movies in the future, as long as Universal Pictures doesn't do something really weird like saying, all VOD all the time, woo! It's interesting, did Disney debut something on? I know they took movies that were just in the theaters and put them on their streaming service. Like Star Wars hit earlier than it was originally going to. Frozen 2 hit earlier than it was originally going to. But I'm trying to remember. Did they skip theatrical and go straight to Disney Plus with anything yet? I don't recall. Matthew says, real question, is AMC going to be around when this is done? How many chains will survive this? I would think AMC's big enough to survive this. I don't know. Because I don't know if AMC owns anything else or who has a stake in AMC. I don't know enough about it to really forecast how long these companies can be shuttered and survive. So I don't know. But I do imagine that this, the pandemic and the stay-at-home stuff, there are going to be permanent ramifications to various aspects of our lives, and theatrical film distribution is probably going to be one of them. I don't think theaters will be gone forever. I don't think all movies will debut or premiere VOD from now on. I don't think that's going to be the case. Because even if AMC and others go under in the next several months, someone else will start a movie chain. Like Disney. Maybe they'll start their own movie theater. So, yeah, I wish I could speak a bit more intelligently on the topic, but I didn't I didn't read any of the news articles on that one. I just saw the headlines and went, oh, that's a thing. Okay. But I did see the new trailer for Assassin's Creed Vikings. Valhalla? Is that what it's called? Assassin's Creed Valhalla? If you've watched any of my commentary on E3, you'll probably guess that I think it's a crummy trailer. It's a bad video game trailer because it's got no gameplay footage in it. It's It's 4 minutes long, and they showed no gameplay, none whatsoever. So, but it's like the 15th Assassin's Creed game, so you could probably guess how it plays, even though they don't show you. But so I mean, when it's a trailer for an established franchise, you can get away with doing that because again, Assassin's Creed, there's 15 of them. We know what it plays like. All it really did was announce, hey, here's the setting. You're gonna be playing Viking peoples. All right. But it's coming out this fall, apparently. So you would think that they'd have gameplay to show. Yeah, you would think it's in a showable state at this point, right? I would. But no, they either did it internally, or more likely they paid someone to produce a 4-minute movie trailer. And it's a cool movie trailer. It's fun to watch. It's actiony. It's gory. It was fun. I enjoyed it, but I think it fails as a video game trailer because unless Assassin's Creed with Vikings is enough for you, and if it is, absolutely, that's great. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But that you kind of fail. Put a little gameplay. I mean, what's funny too is the trailer doesn't seem to be representative of what most of us, I think, would assume a typical jaunt through Assassin's Creed would be. I mean, if you didn't know what Assassin's Creed was, you would think, is it an RTS? Is it like Civilizations? Game doesn't. Is it like For Honor? Who the hell knows? I still feel, as fun and well produced as the trailer was, don't get me wrong, I still feel that if I can't figure out from watching your video game trailer how the hell your video game plays, I feel you've failed at marketing. But they're going to have a Xbox, a Microsoft Direct next week. I think they said the 7th or something, where they're going to debut some footage. So yeah, I mean, we'll see it soon. But again, that seems like a lot of money. I mean, that's a fully 4-minute, fully CG trailer. That, unless that's a cutscene in the game, which I doubt it. I very much doubt it is. I think that was entirely made for marketing. I have to wonder, is that really worth the money? I don't know. I mean, wouldn't it have been cheaper and more effective to just show the game? Maybe not. Maybe not, and that's why they didn't. I don't know. But I generally get annoyed when video games are marketed like that. Tritsu says, more of an announcement trailer than a gameplay trailer. Well, yeah, because it's not a gameplay trailer, obviously. But it was funny because the whole... it was already announced that it was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. They did a really neat... I like this, what they did. They did a live stream of a dude making the promotional art for the game. That was cool. That's a novel, interesting way to do it. But at that point, we all know it's Assassin's Creed. We all know it's Vikings. So the trailer gave us no new information. Unless you just watched it completely blind. But I think it was actually called, Assassin's Creed Valhalla trailer. So, I mean, imagine if it was E3 and this was the Microsoft press conference, and this thing just starts up, and you get through 3.5 minutes of trailer, and then suddenly he knifes him with the slidey hidden knife thing. You're like, oh my god! Oh, it's Assassin's Creed! It's Assassin's Creed! Oh my god, that's the Assassin's Creed thing! It's a thing I recognize from Assassin's Creed! Ah! You completely lose that when you state right up front. I mean, that's what the structure of the trailer, to me, feels like they were going for, but it's completely lost if you introduce it as, and here's the trailer for Assassin's Creed Vikings, Valhalla. It's like, Well, I already know what it is now. You done spoiled the surprise. It's like taking someone home for a surprise party, and it's like, okay, and telling them that there's people waiting inside to surprise you, so cover your eyes. Well, dude, dude. Matthew says Disney can't, I'm guessing, open a movie theater. It's illegal in the U.S. for movie makers to own distribution. That was done in the 20s. Oh, yeah, I recall something like that. There's ways around that, but yeah, I seem to recall that that's a thing. I would have to look into it. I can't speak intelligently on it, though, so. Wilson, third AC game after reboot, to be frank. We're going to get gameplay at the Xbox. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat. Matthew pointed out that the gameplay is going to be at the Xbox Direct next week. And it's not called Xbox Direct, it's called something else, but, yeah. Oh, okay, Trisu, I'll grant you that. The release date and the fact that there's a season pass and a gold edition, that, you're right. That was indeed new information, but that's the kind of information that makes me go, okay, screw it. I'm not into this. No, I'm not paying $120 for the super special edition. No, if you're not just Inside Xbox, that's what it's called. It's very sexy. Anyway, Vikings are cool. Game looks fine. Let me put that another way. The idea of the game sounds fine to me. It's Assassin's Creed. This time you're Vikings. Okay. Great. I've never played any of the Assassin's Creed games. So. It's a series that... I'm one of those people who feels like they need to start from the beginning, and there's just too many of them. And I know it's not a series that you need to play all of them. You can really jump in at any point. It's like Yakuza. Yeah, there's 7 or so of them. There's more than that actually, but pick one. Actually, Yakuza 0 is a good place to start if you want to start somewhere. But when I started in on Yakuza, there were only 4. But Assassin's Creed, there's at least a dozen of them, and I don't know. I'm just like, oh, there's just too much. I don't have time for this. There's something about the franchise as a whole that keeps me at arm's length. I always find them kind of interesting just to see what new things they do with each entry, but they've never really called to me. I'm not saying they're bad games. Again, never played them, but I've just never been drawn to them. So, Amen says, I want them to make one in feudal Japan. It's interesting because that setting has had a few entries of late. We've had 2 Neo games. We just had Sekiro. We've got Ghost of Tsushima, something, coming out later this summer. Would an Assassin's Creed in the same location and time be overkill? Nah. Might accuse them of hopping on a trend bandwagon, but No, that could certainly be very cool. You might be a ninja assassin, and as opposed to those non-assassin ninjas, the pacifistic ninjas. You know those ones. Speaking of feudal Japan, I want the Yakuza Ishin and Kensan games. Bring them, Sega. I will pay for them. I mentioned earlier that I'm got a stranglehold on my wallet right now. Although not going to the theater, that's saving me money. Not going out to eat, that's saving me. All the things I can't do right now, that's saving me money. And I've been driving on the same tank of gas for over a month. I think I filled up my tank in late March. So I've been on the same tank of gas for over a month. It's because we're not going anywhere except to the grocery store when need be. But those things do help save a little money. So that's nice. Yeah, you could be a ninja or a samurai, and yeah, lots of options. That could be a cool option. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it is inherently cool, which is one of the reasons why the aforementioned games are popular, and would be another good reason why you should release those Yakuza spin-off games. Ryoga Gotoku Studios and Sega, please. I know you're working on localizing Yakuza 7, and that's probably coming first, and it's probably coming later than it would have otherwise because of the pandemic, but as much of a stranglehold as I have in my wallet right now, I'd probably loosen my grip for Yakuza 7. I'd probably make an exception for that game. Chaos says, miss barely using gas. When I worked at GameStop, I used one tank in about 2 months. Now I go through a tank about every 8 days. Oh, damn, man. Sorry to hear that. Although gas is actually, at least where I am, gas is like $1.30 cheaper than it was when the pandemic started. It was about $3.80 end of March. Right now it's about $2.50. So it's almost at the point where I'm like, well, damn, I kind of want to go get gas because it's so cheap. Relatively speaking, for my area, the Chaos says $1.29. Wow. Yeah, I've been out in Kentucky like over Christmas, and I'll see the gas is like $1.50 cheaper than it is in California. It's like, I don't understand how that works. Why is it cheaper here? I guess because less demand, but yeah. So let me talk about website ads. I use an ad blocker, and prior to the pandemic, I always wished that the ad blocker defaulted to whitelisting everything, and if ads were causing a problem, then you'd just block it, right? Because I like supporting the sites that I visit. So, but I'm also really lazy, so I never got around to whitelisting the sites I visit. But because of the pandemic, and because I know how damn hard it is for everyone, I made a specific concerted effort to sit down and whitelist everything that I visit, and only turning it back on if the ads were making the site unusable. Because I don't mind commercials. I don't mind paying for my entertainment. I mean, I wrote for Game Politics for 10 years. I understand that this stuff is not easy. It's not cheap. So I don't mind you making a little revenue. In fact, I don't mind. Generally, I don't mind ads at all, as long as they're not flashing or making noise or popping up in front of what I'm looking at, or resizing so that the entire screen keeps shifting while I'm trying to read it, or making videos not play. As long as your ads, they can be visible, but as long as they're not distracting or preventing me from actually consuming the content you're offering on your site, I don't mind them at all. And so I whitelisted all the different sites that I visit. One I reblocked earlier this week because I genuinely could not read their site with the ads. Because the way their ads work is they rotate every 20, 30 seconds or something like that. And every time a new ad loads, it's of a different size, so the entire page shifts when new ads come in and take up more or less space. You know, I can kind of follow a video if the player moves on the screen, because it's annoying, but I can do it. But I can't read a damn article that I'm scrolling scrolling down so I can read it, and then the thing jumps because I'm like, uh, by the time I find where the hell I was, it jerks again. And watching videos was a pain in the ass because every time a new video, a new ad loaded, the video would pause. So, I felt really bad about it, but I went ahead and turned on ad blocker for that website again. And it's a website that has you can either watch ads or pay us a subscription for no ads. I can't pay you a subscription for no ads right now. I can't justify the expenditure. I wish I could. I feel bad about that. I would happily allow you to run. I would happily not block your ads. But if your ads prevent me from consuming the content that you're offering, well, then I've got to block your ads. Now, you could say, well, then you just don't read the site. True, but I'm kind of hoping that maybe the traffic numbers helps you a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I do feel. Tritsu says it forces refreshes and shoves the page around. Yeah, and that's probably one of the reasons why Game Politics did not continue. We did try to do ads for a couple months there, see if we could make enough money to justify spending the amount of time we needed to. We knew we weren't going to make enough to make it our full-time jobs, but we were thinking maybe we can make enough to at least justify spending the time we need to have 5 updates every weekday. We could not. But we were also really picky about our ads. We wanted to make sure that our ads did not prevent you from actually reading the site. We were specific. No animated ads, no ads that play sound. I mean, ads that could open a video player are fine, but they cannot default to on. No ads that, move the screen all over the place. And that limited us, and it's probably one of the reasons we made almost no money on ads and had to close the site. So, Tritsu says, the worst part of that type of setup is the difficulty of getting to the pay thing through the ads. Yeah. So, I'm actually going to write the EIC of the site this weekend, because I was going to do it yesterday, but forgot, got busy with something else, and tell them it's like, I would happily not block ad. I like your site, I like reading your site, but I can't afford to subscribe, but I also can't read it with the ads running. So, is there anything you can do, or do you want me to not read your site? Because, I mean, I don't know if my traffic even helps. I don't know. So, just something I ran into this week I thought was kind of disappointing. Most sites seem to be okay with ads. They have banner ads and things in the margins, and that's fine. Yeah, I don't mind that stuff. Safe bet. Yeah, Matthew says safe bet the EIC knows, but it's not in its power, sadly. Probably. It's probably going to be one of those, yeah, we know, nothing we can do about it. It's also one of those things where, like, the sites that use their own video players, and it's always so frustrating because as a consumer, you're sitting there and you're thinking, just use YouTube, please. Please just use YouTube because it works. Your player sucks. And I know they use their players because they can monetize it better, but which is why you'll see a lot of sites run videos on their sites on their players and then put it on YouTube like the following week or something like that. Better monetization deals doing it that way, but it's so frustrating when their sites players suck. Like I haven't used IGNs in a while, but I used to write guides for IGN, and I never liked their video player. It was just never. I mean, it worked, but it was never as good as just YouTube's player. And I guess video players are just hard to make, but as a consumer, when you don't understand the whys, it gets really frustrating when you're like, oh my god, just use YouTube, it works. And it's like, yeah, but we have to pay people to write content. This stuff isn't free. So I'm out of water now, and it's nearly 8 o'clock, so I guess we could wrap it up. So tomorrow we'll play another game, noon o'clock Pacific Standard Time. The first game I was thinking about playing was Condemned Criminal Origins, which is I think one of the launch window Xbox 360 games. Pardon me. A game I've never played, but I always thought looked really interesting. Don't know when the hell or how the hell I picked it up. Probably a Humble Bundle at some point. Unfortunately, the PC version of that game just does not use a controller. Or if it does, I can't figure out how to use it. There's an options menu to set up a joystick, but it doesn't make any sense to me. It says it gives you you can assign the controls to the x-axis and the y-axis. So I'm thinking, okay, move left and right would be x-axis, and camera up and down, or maybe forward and backward would be y-axis. Are we talking about the left or the right stick? And then there was a z-axis. I don't even know what the hell that's referring to. Is it like the clicky sticks? No idea. But it doesn't give you any options for like face buttons, so I have no idea what that controller setup is supposed to be for. So we're not playing Criminal Origins tomorrow. Matthew says Jeff Gertzman, Giant Bomb, EIC, right, talked about that. It's about the same revenue-wise after you include hosting costs. Giant Bomb only has it for premium content. Huh. Oh, A-Man asked, did I beat Enslaved? Did I like it? Z-axis is the camera? But the camera has two axes. It goes up and down and left and right, doesn't? Unless this game only has a really weird, confusing way to label stuff, but I don't think they've... I don't know. I couldn't get it to work, so we're not playing it. Yes, I did finish Enslaved, Odyssey to the West. I felt narratively it was unsatisfying towards the end. Overall, I liked the game. I thought it was fun. I didn't really care for where it went and what it did, but overall, do we care about spoilers? I'll just leave it there. Maybe we'll talk about more of that next week. But overall, yeah, I really quite enjoyed it. It was a fun game. Oh, I will say this: there was I don't know if it was part of. It's probably part of the. My copy was the premium edition. It included a DLC add-on called Pigsley's Top 10, which was actually a really nice bit of expanded content. You play a different character and go on a separate adventure, and he plays completely differently, and it's actually a lot of fun. It sticks around maybe 30 minutes longer than it should. I was really ready for it to be over about half an hour before it was, but overall I think it was a really nice piece of extra content that they released, so kudos there. Overall, I quite like the game. Matthew says X left right, Y forward backward, Z up down. Sure, but again, how does that translate to a one control stick? Or if it doesn't, which axes are on which control stick? And does up and down mean, I guess, tilt the camera up and down? Can you move the camera left and right? Again, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So, yeah, I mean, I understand XYZ is a 3D coordinate system. You know, you have the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. But as to mapping that to a controller without telling me what portions of the controller that's talking about, for example, point to the x-axis on this controller. I mean, is it this one moving left and right? Is it this one moving left and right? Is it there's motion? It's a 6-axis thing, so is it this? I have no idea. I have no idea. Plus, again, it has no way to that I could find anyway to map buttons. So I have never seen an option screen so mind-bogglingly confusing to me. Oh well. So tomorrow instead, we're going to play one of the DLCs to Shantae Half Genie Hero, which was a gift. One of my viewers, Viper, gifted me a few years ago, had an extra code, and then the following Christmas bought the Friends to the End DLC for me, which I sadly never got around to playing, but tomorrow we will fix that. So join me tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, and we'll play a little Shantae Half Genie Hero, Friends to the End. Alright, good night everybody, take care, bye-bye.